And then I want to ask you this question, and you don't have to answer me out loud, but just answer in your heart. I'm going to ask you a very, very important question. How are you? Give it some thought. And I guess maybe for some of you, the standard answer that's just popped straight into your mind was, I'm fine. And I always tell people that tell me that they're fine, that fine means freaked out, insecure, neurotic, emotional, or exhausted. So I never go along with the answer of I'm fine. So how are you really? Is your soul maybe a little bit weary? You see, over the last 5 years, we have had to face unimaginable challenges in our personal lives, as a province, as a community, as a nation, and as the human race. So let's just rewind to COVID as an example. Even if it did not affect you personally, and I struggle to believe that any of you wouldn't have been affected in some way, but even if it hadn't, just watching COVID play out on the news, watching the death toll rise, watching the war that was taking place about the vaccine, the division that was taking place, just with regards to the vaccine, just watching that play out, even if it was on the news or social media or in conversations that you were having. All of that took its toll on our souls. And then, if we lived in KZN, we subsequently had to face the riots and the floods, which further took a toll on our already weary souls. And like I said, even if these events did not affect you personally, our precious souls have carried the weight of other people's pain. And each tragedy has added layers of fear, exhaustion, and pain. And bear in mind that for most of us, we arrived at the COVID season with already a backlog of pain and struggle that you were facing in your personal lives. It's not like we started off then with a clean slate. And anxiety and depression have increased by 25% in the last 5 years, and that's largely with women. And there is globally a mental health crisis. People in general are feeling emotionally drained, exhausted, and disconnected. And I wonder if some of you can relate. And apart from our personal struggles or these global struggles, we now have access to social media, and through videos at the touch of our fingers, we can scroll through multiple videos showing sometimes catastrophic events. And each of these, even though they don't personally relate to us, have added further layers of trauma and pain deeply into our hearts. And it's taking its toll. Because your soul was not meant to carry the weight of the tragedies of the whole world. And yet they are. And so our souls have become weary. And for some of us, our emotional resources were already in deficit. We're sitting with a backlog of emotional resources to give. And yet, people want us. Our families want us. Our work wants us. Things are happening in our lives. And so, with that emotional deficit, we are still required to show up. And show up we do. Over and over again, we show up. That's what we women do. And sometimes we're showing up with nothing to give. And so we are being worn down. And the Bible tells us that we should not be surprised about this. And in Daniel 7, verse 25, it speaks of the fact that the enemy is wearing down the saints. That's what he's doing. His plan is to keep us weary, distracted, emotional, and exhausted. And so many of us are living under the weight of what I've called the deluge of the D words, and it's to go along with the devil, because they're all his words, and you'll see why now when I explain them to you. And so I've got a few D words here, and there are so many, but I just got this download of all these D words that I felt like the devil was pinning onto us. And the first one is distraction. We are under constant assault from our phones, whether it's a message, an advert, an alert, information. We are being bombarded by social media, and it's fragmenting our attention. It's weakening our memory, and this is all scientific evidence. It's disrupting our sleep. It's fueling anxiety, and it's eroding our self-esteem. This digital overload is now causing what professionals are calling popcorn brain. And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I feel like the information that we're constantly given constantly contradicts itself as well. And like Paige will send me messages about, oh, you must take this is amazing. And then the very next day, you're told that is actually bad for you. So just a small example off the top of my head, you must wear sunblock because it will prevent you from getting skin cancer. The next day, sunblock is bad for you because there's a chemical in there that is causing the cancer. Oh my word. And so many foods that we have to eat, it's all related to the lining of the stomach, the gut. I mean, it's all gut related. And this one is good for you. No, it's bad for you. You must have this, you must have that. Honestly, whiplash. And my response is, I can't even. And as if that distraction is not enough, there is another whole pile of D words that I'm just going to call out to you. And some of you are going to say, yes, that's me. Others of you are going to say, no, that's not me. Disconnection. Disappointment. Discouragement. Denial. Doubt. Division. Depletion, devastation, depression, dread, that constant feeling like something bad is going to happen. And then last, and not least because there's so many more, is desolation. And that's that feeling of emptiness and loneliness. The feeling that you're far away from God in a spiritually dry place. And David, who knew and loved God so well, he experienced this himself. And in Psalm 42, verse 5, David says, why, my soul, are you so downcast? Why so disturbed within me? So even David, who knew the Lord so well, experienced this desolation. And I wonder right now if any of you can relate to that word, desolation, loneliness, emptiness. You see, our souls have become tired and weary. And so, we self-soothe. And our favorite self-soothing tool is the TV. And for some, it might be alcohol, and maybe there are other quick fixes. But instead of giving us the peace that our souls require, they actually leave us feeling more numb. I wonder how many of you have binge watched a series because you just feel like you need a break, you need some peace. And at the end of it, the loneliness and the longing and the numbness is still lingering. And added to it is a little bit of guilt for all the time that you wasted watching that series. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not against TV, and I love me a good series, and I am waiting with anticipation to Virgin River Season 7. How many of you can relate? Just me? Thank you, Kirst. Just you and me. But I have learned that giving myself a series or TV time just to unwind is not giving my soul what it is longing for. I don't get the true rest that I'm expecting. You see, these D words that I was mentioning earlier have become a part of the human condition. It's not just Christians, it's not just here, it's a global epidemic. And science has discovered, and I'm saying discovered, some very, very helpful coping mechanisms. And I say discovered because the Bible has actually known about these coping mechanisms for thousands of years, and they're in the Bible. And for each one that I'm going to share with you now, there is a scriptural reference. In fact, there are many, and I'm not going to share them all today, but they are there, trust me. So the first of science's coping mechanisms is kindness. Kindness releases endorphins, serotonin, and dopamine. And all of these things are good for mental and physical health. Walking in nature. I mean, you can actually feel it when you walk in nature, that it is actually good for you. And walking in nature is known to lower your blood pressure, reduce anxiety, and restore mental clarity. It really does work. Music and dancing are really, really good for you. They help you to feel better about yourself. They regulate your emotions. They're amazing. Meditation also calms the mind and reduces stress. Did you know that friendship is good for your physical health? Because it increases happiness and resilience, and it's actually good for the cells in your body. Real strong friendships. Reaching out to other people in need is good for your self-esteem, for your self-worth, and it is actually also good for your physical health. So if you're needing a little bit of a boost, go and volunteer somewhere. It is really, really good for you. And then last but not least, because there are many more, rest is good for your physical health. And I'm sure you all know this. It is good for your mental clarity and for your physical health. Get a good night's sleep. So science is telling us these really good things, and they are really, really helpful. They do work, and the Bible backs them all up and has done from way before science came into the picture. But here's the truth. They only bring temporary relief. Temporary relief. They are all gifts, but they are not the treasure. You know, even Bible verses, as amazing as they are, and I love the Bible, and I love Scripture. For every single situation that we face, there is a Scripture with truth. But do you sometimes maybe feel like the Scripture is like a Band-Aid over a sore that is a helpful healing tool, but actually not the solution to the healing of the wound that lies underneath? You know, we can take our scriptures and we can place them all around the house, and they do offer temporary relief. But actually, sometimes that weariness still lingers. And even Christian content on social media, which I really do love. I love the Christian content on social media. It's good. It's inspiring. It is really, really helpful. but even that is not the source. That is not the true treasure. And Jesus himself made this clear. And I'm going to read to you from John 4, verse 13 to 14. Everyone who drinks this water will get thirsty again and again. Anyone who drinks the water I will give him will never thirst, not ever. You see, the water that he is talking about, the water that he gives us, is him. It is not information about him, it is him himself. You see, in the middle of our weariness, there is this beautiful invitation from Jesus himself. And I'm going to read to you from Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30. Are you tired? Are you worn out? Are you burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you will recover your life. I will show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of my grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you will learn to live freely and lightly. How beautiful is that scripture? And this is the heart in the name of our conference. Come away with me. You see, intimacy with Jesus is our lifeline. I'm going to share a story with you about my own daughter's wedding. So this is my daughter, Paige. Paige, please stand so that they can see you. My Paige got married in February this year. And we had incredible plans for the day. And her wedding was at a venue that had a little lake and beautiful trees. And the plan was for us to have sundowners and canapes by the lake as we watched the sunset. And they would have their photographs to the setting sun. Amazing plans. It was going to be absolutely beautiful. But it rained all day. In fact, much like it is doing today. And I kind of saw all these plans kind of going out the window. And as a mum, I was concerned for my daughter. Because I thought, I don't want her to be disappointed or anxious on her special day, especially when it's not going according to plan. But can I tell you that she was not anxious or disappointed, not even once. You know, when we went for our photographs, Paige's hair that was beautifully curled landed up in a bedraggled mess. I mean, she still looked beautiful, but those curls were not there anymore. And her beautiful, beautiful dress was so wet and caked in mud that she wasn't able to do her first dance in that dress because it was too heavy. Fortunately, she had a party dress that she was going to change into later, so she landed up doing her first dance in that party dress. But can I just tell you that Paige, my daughter, radiated joy the whole day. There was not a moment that I saw a shred of anxiety on her face. She was a light the whole day. And we gained our joy from watching the joy on her face. It honestly was such a privilege to see the joy that emanated from her. And why was she able to have so much joy despite the circumstances? Because her bridegroom was present. His presence was all that mattered. if she had only received a letter from him on that day, or a whole lot of information about how much he loved her, it would not have been the same. His presence was what gave her joy and peace. And that picture is the same with us. Jesus is our bridegroom. We are his bride. He is our joy and peace. Not the information that we read about him, which is incredible, because obviously a letter from Tristan would be amazing. But that's not what brought her joy. And I can honestly say that in my life, I have had so many seasons of tiredness, weariness, burnout, exhaustion. And during these times, I have hung onto Scripture, and I have claimed all the right scriptures, read my Bible, broken bread, done all the things that I was meant to do, and yet this weariness lingered until he walked into the room. And then everything changes. And as I actually wrote that down, it was because of a song, and I love the song, and some of you will know it. When he walks into the room, everything changes. And I felt God actually just saying to me, I'm already in the room. He is already in the room, and his arms are outstretched to you. He is inviting you to come and be with him. What a beautiful picture. And then I felt him just replacing that with that song, When I Lock Eyes with You. When I lock eyes with you. When I lock eyes with him, because his eyes are already locked on me. And I'm going to read that scripture from Matthew again, just to remind you of this invitation that is out there for each and every single one of you. Are you tired? Are you worn out? Burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me, and you will recover your life. I will show you how to take a real rest. Keep company with me, and you will learn to live freely and lightly. Isn't that what we want, to live freely and lightly? And the solution is so simple: to say yes to the invitation that he has extended to each and every single one of you. Because, friends, this world is a tiring place. The enemy is relentless, and he is strategically wearing us down. But Jesus is here, and his invitation still stands. Come away with me. And it's not to give you more to do, but to give you rest. It's not to burden you with another task that you have to do, but it's to remove the burdens that you are carrying. It's not to fill your mind with more information, because I don't think our minds can actually handle much more information. But it's to fill your souls with his presence, his healing presence. And so today the bridegroom is here, and he is inviting you to step away from your distraction, your weariness, your discontent, your dread, whatever you are facing right now, and to come into this beautiful place of presence with him.